I'd like to recognize the chairman of the full committee of Transportation Infrastructure, Mr. Mica.
Well, first of all, thank you for yielding to me, and also to you and Mr. Larson for complying with the request to conduct this hearing this morning. And I felt as chair of the full committee that it was incumbent upon our committee and this subcommittee to review both this incident and then where we are on cruise ship safety in light of this and other incidents. But I must first also identify my remarks with others today who've expressed their sympathy to and condolences to the United States Coast Guard. We've learned in the last 24 hours, again, the high price that's been paid by the men and women that serve us every day, making certain that we're safe and secure in the seas and waterways, and again, incredibly saddened to hear of your loss, and our prayers and thoughts are with the families. And as Mr. Larson said, the same holds true for cruise ship passengers and crew and others that were lost in the Concordia tragedy. Some may say, well, maybe we shouldn't hold this hearing, and I said no. I think that it's very important that we examine what took place and where we are as far as cruise ship safety. You know, it's sort of a warning signal when you have a new, fairly new mega liner hit rocks and suddenly sink. In light of that incident, again, there will be investigation as to responsibility, but our responsibility in the United States Congress is to make certain that every passenger who boards a cruise ship, particularly from our shores, and also U.S. citizens who board internationally, have the very safest experience possible, and that this Congress has provided and updated the laws, the regulations, and worked with the agencies like the Coast Guard to make certain that those protections are in place. First of all, the cruise industry is, I think it's one of the most incredible entrepreneurial achievements by the private sector that I've seen in my lifetime. Probably my great-grandparents came by steerage, and maybe at the turn of the century, and for so many decades, a cruise ship experience or passenger by sea who cruised for pleasure was limited to the rich and famous. And here entrepreneurs have made what was once a very limited experience for very few people one of the most pleasurable, enjoyable experiences of their lifetime. And I've been on cruises, and I've seen the joy people have. They save their hard-earned money all year to go on a cruise, and it's an incredible experience that makes some of their dreams come true. By the same token, though, we are very dependent now on this as an industry. My state of Florida is one of the premier cruise states, and departure and arrival locations. We have ports and I was at Port Canaveral last week, I believe it was, touring there, looking at some of what's going on. But the economic impact of this industry is just huge, not to mention the great experience and pleasure and vacation it affords folks. But again, we have a responsibility to make certain that that experience is safe. Some of the responsibility is not just the United States, it's also to international organizations. So I intend, and I'd ask both the ranking member and the chairman to take from this hearing information And we need to make certain that our international organizations that also set standards are updating those standards, and we can't do this just by ourselves or put in place laws that just protect Americans from our ports, but we have a responsibility to work with the international organizations to make certain that they also update their standards. So that being said, we also have a new era of cruise ships. Some of these cruise ships have 5,000, 6,000 people. I believe this one had over 4,200 people on board. We also saw, too, a cruise ship, and this cruise ship is, I think, the length of aircraft carrier. That cruise ship, when it hit the rocks and it tilted over, it certainly got everybody in the world's attention to what can happen with a mega cruise liner, and we were very fortunate in a way that the cruise ship landed on some land and rocks. If it had sunk, the number of deaths would have been incredible. The other thing that was astounding to me, having been on cruise ships, when you go over sideways, everyone thinks of the Titanic and the way it sank, or a ship going down in the sea. But when a mega liner tilts over and turns over, immediately you have disabled, in that case, probably half of the safety evacuation vessels. So we may need to look at some different types of equipment for different types of mega liners and different types of safety procedures, including the practice and drill that there were questions raised about. So I think we can take from this hearing some positive improvements, unfortunately at great personal loss to some families, and hopefully we can make this experience, which we've relied on and we've grown to take for granted, an even safer experience. So again, I salute the Coast Guard for their fine work, look forward to their recommendations, the other witnesses that have been assembled, and Chairman Lobiando and Mr. Larson, thank you so much, and we'll yield back.